Well, we got a recent report that the Marvels might have one of the lowest budgets of any Marvel movie ever. But is this report accurate? You know, we want to bring you guys the truth, and we've heard some updates on the story, so let's dive in and talk about it a little bit, because I think this might be a little bit misleading. Well, the other day we got a really interesting update on the Marvels, and it got people talking. There was an ongoing story that seemed to indicate that the Marvels had an incredibly small budget, only $130 million. If you follow Marvel productions, you know a lot of them are north of $200 million, and this honestly has been a bit of a problem for the studio trying to recover their money, but 130 seemed, well, pretty darn low. That number is actually the lowest we've heard for any Marvel production, and this really got people talking and somewhat worried. Now, we've seen the trailers for this movie and we know how great it looks, and from the beginning I was fairly skeptical if it really was $130 million or if we were seeing something else. Now, we do know Marvel has worked to reduce the budgets on some of these projects. Actually, Secret Invasion and the Marvels filmed in the same location to help reduce costs, with one of these being Samuel L. Jackson being able to work on both productions at the same time. Now, many people have expressed concern that a $130 million budget, well, means that there's not a lot going on with the movie, and it's going to be subpar. But now we've got an interesting update from Forbes, and I think their report clarifies it quite a bit. Now, what they're saying is the $130 million budget we are hearing was for only the first 2 months of filming. That was part of the initial financial statements, but filming continued for over 7 months and the budget increased significantly. Now, we're hearing reports that the budget for the movie is actually right at about $220 million, which is significantly less than Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, honestly, guys, I find this still to be pretty good news. This budget is, well, rather reasonable for a Marvel production, and if you remember correctly, studios take in about half the box office total. This means the Marvels needs to get around the mid-$400 million range before they cross into profitability. This means should this movie do as well as the first movie, it'll make a ton of money, but should it approach that average $700 or $800 million mark we're seeing lots of Marvel movies hit, it will be extremely profitable for Marvel Studios. We have seen a series of Marvel flops in recent years, including Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, so Marvel's box offices are no longer fully guaranteed, but we should keep in mind the first Captain Marvel movie made $1 billion, so I do understand why Marvel would be willing to invest in this project. Now, we've got a couple more months before the Marvels comes out, and honestly, the film looks great. I'm still very hopeful it'll do well. We're going to watch that marketing campaign carefully because I think it's going to be key to seeing this movie break into the profitable zone. It's always good to know the real deal on what's going on behind the scenes and what expectations the studios have, and honestly, this doesn't surprise me at all.